All right, welcome to Database History. Today, we're getting our hands dirty. We're going to do a complete teardown of an incredibly radical new government tech stack.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Cast your mind back to 2013. The US government tries to build a healthcare database, right? The infamous healthcare.gov. It cost, get this, $2 billion. It crashed on the very first day and only 6 people, 6, managed to sign up. Total disaster. Now, fast forward to February 2026. The government launches a new site, trumprx.gov. This thing handles millions of requests, serves up real-time drug pricing, and the launch, absolutely flawless.
So, what happened? How on earth did government IT go from, let's be honest, a historic failure to a truly stunning success in just about a decade? I mean, what's the secret here?
Well, the secret, and this is the fundamental shift that I think every single database engineer needs to wrap their head around. The secret is what isn't there. The whole system works so well because it has no database. None. So let's talk about these two very different websites. First off, just take a look at the site itself. The user interface, it's modern, it's minimalist, super fast. It doesn't look like the IRS website, that's for sure. It feels more like you're in an Apple store or on Airbnb. But look, the front end is just the skin, right? To really get why it looks and works this way, we have to look at the new team that actually built it.
So to understand the design, you really got to look at the designers. And this whole project was driven by a brand new, kind of unheard of group inside the federal government.
So back in August 2025, an executive order pops up creating something called the National Design Studio, or NDS for short. And who do they get to run it? They tap Joe Gebbia, the co-founder of Airbnb, as the nation's very first chief design officer. And his mandate? It was simple, but also kind of crazy. Make the federal government work like the Apple Store. Just wow. For decades, right, government IT was all about servers, compliance, and endless security checklists, a total grind. But the NDS, they just came in and completely flipped the script. Their core philosophy, the thing that changed everything, was this: design is policy. The idea is you don't just build some clunky tech to serve a pre-existing policy. No, you design the entire user experience from the ground up first.
And this difference in approach is absolutely critical. I mean, think about it. The old way, the way things were always done, was to ask, okay, how do we put this paper form on the internet? But the NDS way, they ask, wait a minute, why does this form even exist in the first place? Can we just delete it? It's a total first principles way of thinking.
They have a name for this. They call it design by subtraction. And this philosophy is exactly why TrumpRx has no user database. The team realized that the most user-friendly database is the one you don't even have to sign up for. It's brilliant. They didn't just design a better login screen, they designed the entire login screen completely out of existence.
So this brings up the big technical question, right? If there's no database, how does any of this actually work? Let's break down the architecture of this empty database.
Okay, so let's walk through it. Imagine you're on the site and you type Wegovy into the search bar. Now, what's happening behind the scenes is not a query to some massive federal table of drug prices. Nope. The government is basically outsourcing the query. The request gets proxied directly to the GoodRx API to get real-time pricing. Then when you click Buy, you're not buying from the government. You're redirected straight to a manufacturer like Pfizer or Lilly Direct, and a coupon code is already applied for you. And the craziest part? The government application stores absolutely nothing. Zero. Zilch.
So, there's a name for this architectural pattern. It's called an API aggregator. All that means is the government site is just a super lightweight layer. Its only job is to query other external services, grab the results, and then present them to you. It doesn't hold any of the data itself.
And this whole philosophy has an official name, coined by the new Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. They call it the zero-state philosophy.
And this table, man, it just lays out the contrast so clearly. You look back at 2013, healthcare.gov tried to be the single source of truth, right? The system of record. It was this massive Oracle monolith trying to integrate 50 different state databases. Just a nightmare. Now look at TrumpRx in 2026. It stores 0 patient records. It processes 0 payments. It holds 0 inventory. See, its philosophy isn't to be the system of record, it's just to be the search bar.
The best analogy I've heard for this? It's basically the Uber model, but applied to federal benefits. Think about it. Uber is the world's biggest taxi company, but it owns 0 cars. In the same way, Trump RX is now the nation's biggest drug dispensary, but it owns 0 pills.
Now, this is a pretty revolutionary approach, right? But it's not all sunshine and roses. It comes with a major trade-off. And we really need to talk about the huge privacy consequences of this new model. So here's the catch. Just because the government isn't storing your data doesn't mean it disappears. It means someone else is. When you use this site, you need to understand that you're entering a commercial ecosystem. Your search history, that goes straight to GoodRx's servers. Your purchase data? Yeah, that's on Pfizer servers now.
So what this really means, when you boil it down, is that the government has successfully offloaded what you might call database liability. If there's a massive data breach, it's not going to be a government scandal anymore. It's going to be a scandal at a private tech company. The risk, the complexity, the whole headache, it's been shifted entirely over to the private sector.
For decades, we've judged government tech by how big the database was. The bragging right was, we have the largest repository of X. Trump RX represents a totally new era, the era of the empty database. The state is no longer the custodian of our data, it's just the search bar.
Look, there's no denying it. The system is faster, it's cheaper, and it's way more reliable than probably any government site in history. But you have to see that this shift marks a truly fundamental change in the entire relationship between us, the citizens, and the state. And for a database historian, well, that might just be the most interesting query of all.